Hey guys, tonight we leave behind highways, office buildings, and the comforting certainty that your bed will still be there when the day ends. Instead, you stand beneath the hot Italian sun, staring at a line of Roman recruits, waiting to swear an oath that could shape the rest of their lives. The smell of dust, leather, and freshly sharpened iron hangs in the air. Somewhere nearby, a centurion is already shouting at someone who hasn't technically done anything wrong yet. Congratulations, you've arrived at exactly the sort of workplace where on-the-job training might involve marching 20 miles before breakfast. And just a fair warning, you probably won't survive this, especially if you complain about the weight of your backpack. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're here, leave a comment telling me where you're listening from and what your local time is. It's always amazing to see people from all over the world joining these quiet journeys through history. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You take your place among dozens of nervous young recruits. Some dream of glory. Others simply need the steady pay. None of them can truly imagine the years ahead. A Roman legionary is more than a fighter. He is expected to march immense distances, build roads and forts, dig defensive ditches, stand guard through freezing nights, repair equipment, and obey orders with remarkable precision. Historians generally agree that the Roman army's discipline and organization were among the greatest reasons for Rome's expansion across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The camp feels surprisingly orderly. Leather tents stand in neat rows. Shields are stacked with almost mathematical precision. Every tool has its place. Even before you receive your armor, you're learning that the Roman army values routine almost as much as courage. Then comes an odd detail that rarely appears in films. Soldiers often carried so much of their own equipment that later generations jokingly nicknamed them Marius's mules. The burden could exceed what many modern hikers would willingly carry for a weekend trip. Scholars still argue whether the exact weight varied significantly between different periods of the Roman army, but everyone agrees it was heavy enough to make every mile memorable. As the sun climbs higher, you begin to understand something important. The hardest enemy isn't always waiting across the battlefield.
A wicker basket rests near the doorway, overflowing with turnips. Nothing here feels extravagant. Everything feels useful. Breakfast begins quietly. No sizzling bacon, no towering stack of pancakes, no brightly colored cereal boxes promising 27 essential vitamins. Instead, a thick slice of coarse bread lands gently before you. Beside it sits a small wooden bowl filled with warm pottage. If you've never heard of pottage, imagine the world's most patient soup. It changes constantly. Whatever vegetables happen to be available find their way into the pot. Barley, peas, beans, leeks, cabbage, onions, perhaps a few herbs growing near the cottage wall. Sometimes a little cheese. Occasionally bits of meat if fortune smiles generously. The pot simmers for hours, sometimes receiving fresh ingredients throughout the day. Yesterday's meal quietly becomes today's lunch. Today's leftovers gently become tomorrow's breakfast. Nothing goes to waste. A curious little dog waits hopefully beneath the table, convinced someone will accidentally drop a crust. His confidence seems admirable. The family, unfortunately for him, wastes very little. Food requires too much effort to produce. Every loaf begins months earlier in carefully plowed fields. Every vegetable demands patient tending. Every egg depends upon healthy hens surviving foxes, illness, and unpredictable weather. You begin to understand something important. Before fast food, every meal carries the memory of work. Scholars still argue whether medieval peasants enjoyed more dietary variety than older history books once suggested. But archaeological discoveries increasingly reveal surprisingly diverse local diets depending upon geography, trade, and seasonal availability. Outside, the village bakery grows busier. The communal oven radiates comforting warmth. Several families arrive carrying carefully prepared dough wrapped in linen cloths. Rather than owning private ovens, many villagers bake together using shared facilities supervised by experienced bakers. The smell drifting across the village becomes almost impossible to ignore. Fresh crust, warm grain, wood smoke, perhaps history's finest perfume. Oddly enough, medieval bread sometimes doubles as a plate. Large stale slices called trenchers support stews and roasted foods during meals. After soaking up delicious juices, The softened bread might be eaten or occasionally donated to poorer families if circumstances allow. Imagine finishing dinner by eating the plate. Modern dishwashers would become very bored.